Well, so you have in front of you just the kind of projected 2021 budget, hotel motel.
There's what they are looking at. Just in case you want to see, Paige and I didn't talk about any, projections or anything. I'm just trying to kind of look at, current activity and go from there.
What we've tried to project, and to be honest with you, we know 2020 really just, it's such an anomaly. It really doesn't fit the rolling average, and it's unfair to even try to bring that in. So what we did, or what Paige did, the 2021 forecast, it reflects a 25% increase over the actual collections of 2019. So that's where she's getting those numbers from, which is still a substantial increase. It was above 45% though for 2020, and that's, that'll be great. Just, we're trying to stay very conservative. But just like with the 2020 budget, the spending will be adjusted to keep up with the actual collections. And of course, you see our tourism product development, that can always be adjusted. So I'll let you look over it.
It's very much in line. The numbers and the categories are just what we've presented in years past, and just with the adjustment of the numbers and trying to make some sense of what's going to happen.
Yeah, I see y'all combined a lot, like in the operations staff of, because you had a, I was actually going to ask about a marketing and PR number that I saw in the last couple of years, but I hadn't seen before, and I don't see it on this new one.
We can get Paige on the phone. She's in Alabama, but we can get her
I
on.
don't know that it's necessary. I was just wondering, it was just something that I gathered all mine for the last 5 or 6 years, actually, together over this week, and I was just looking at them. I was like, oh, that marketing and PR is a big number that appeared in the last couple of years. And I'll tell you, I know that, the numbers were all said really quick, and I wrote them on my other papers, but of a $200,000 investing in something, and putting away.
There were retained earnings that we just would not be able to spend in 2020. Collections that would come in 2020, but we have to ask for grace instead of just finding something to throw it to. And to do it deliberately, but it would be after 12/31. It would be like $200,000 in retained earnings for this year because of these extraordinary receipts.
Right, and I understand, and then I was hoping also that $70,000 for tourism product development, and then I see you're putting aside $75,000 for the next year, but that's $150,000 of tourism product development. That can be considered enough, just
Well, so for this year, there's already a couple of, I guess you can call them items on our table with Mountain Bike Association. There's some trails I think that we're trying to partner with.
Sassafras.
I don't know specifically.
I don't know that Sassafras is going to come in 2020. It's our understanding.
Is that the Falling Waters one?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly where that is. That they might be putting off they were doing some of the more preliminary things, is my understanding. I am not well versed in this.
Well, but Paige was just telling us that Terry Palmieri and her are working something out for this year's tourism product development money. So I know that it's not just going to be rolled over to, we're going to make sure that some of that is spent, just to help out with the percentages.
Sure. And I did suggest to Terry that because I saw that extra money, that she.
So I think they've already connected.
So, because I do think it's, they're looking for funding, and at least it's funding that we know will be a great project, a great park for.
And this is what that's for.
Now, is that at Carter's? Is that what she's?
No, they tried to do some more trails at Carter's, and the grant was not approved. So, and they were trying to get in the GOSP grant period this year for that sassafras, and they didn't, there was just too much. Their COVID pushed back their planning and details that that grant requires. So they pushed off that until pushed that off until next year. So it may just be funds. It's gonna be a huge project that, that I, you know, I don't know what Terry asked paid for or not, but it was one project that was moving forward in 2020 that I thought would be beneficial to, I mean, it's really gonna be a regional, really cool park down the road.
Well, another thing that she discussed was letting business owners that are in tourism have access to use this grant, like a grant for marketing. To say, hey, we're doing our marketing, but if you want to specifically market your own business, you could apply to this tourism product development grant into it and say, hey, I'm applying for $2,500 to run an ad in Chattanooga to promote my, whatever, my wine about weekend, whatever, specific. And then people could apply into that grant and try to get that. So that would be tourism specific. And then we could also filter and monitor it through the chamber and through the organization to make sure we're not just giving that money out to Joe Schmo, market.
So the grant would run through the chamber, the
Through the-
tourism?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. If it didn't, let's say Terry only asks for 65,000, there's still 10,000, we've got to use it. We want to make sure that we don't just throw it away and use something to make it available to our members and to anybody else who wants to promote Gilmer County, apply for this money. You know?
Of course, within the guidelines of DCA and all that.
Absolutely. So I thought that was a great idea also.
I keep thinking that we're all enjoying this. We can't even drive through our town, and that's wonderful. And, but I wonder if we're gonna lose our luster when Disney opens again.
That's what somebody else.
I thought Disney was open in Florida, but not California, but I'm not.
I'm just using that as an example, when
Everything
people are
opens
not
up.
afraid anymore.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be isolated so much. I just,
Short of an absolute recession, it seems to me that when the economy slows or when we have something like the COVID, that we actually do a little better. Because a lot of these Disney trips or whatever become day trips. And we're a great destination for that. So, you know, it seems like in the past, and I'm not talking about when the whole world crashes like in '08, but if, you know, if things are not going real well, sometimes we can even do a little better because then that day destination kicks in. And I think we're seeing that right now. So I do believe at some point we can project that things will cool off a little bit. So it's,
we could have never sat here, we didn't sit here last year and predict what we're seeing right now. My word. It's crazy. Are you all seeing the revenue increases in the other collections commensurate with the hotel motel? Is it an anomaly within the anomaly?
no, we're seeing loss and loss going up.
And we're so fortunate because as I was on the training with other commissioners from the state, I mean, there are some counties that are hurt bad right now. And, you know, they kind of did a poll of like, how are you doing? How are you doing? And they started with others, and I almost didn't want to go because all of your people are in Gilmer County. You know, all of your people have come to the mountains because South Georgia, and then even places like Cobb and Metro Atlanta where their tourism and convention business is nothing. And the big stadium, the baseball, whatever that, you know, it's called, all of that is really hurting them financially.
The things that the big cities rely on, which usually just kind of blow us away momentarily, like Major League Baseball and NBA and all that stuff. Those are the things that are being, if not shut down, severely cramped right now. And even if they're available, a lot of people are still very hesitant to walk into a stadium full of people. And so we're positioned very well
We are.
for that kind of thing.
We absolutely are. And we're grateful to be in that place and grateful to be entrusted with what we've been entrusted with. You know, we're an emerging, and we have almost emerged, it would seem. We're an emerging destination, but we're here. I think people know we're here. It would seem people know we're here. If you look out that window, people know we're here.
Well, I'm not going to offer an opinion as to whether this is good or bad, depending on who you talk to. But we're growing again, very rapidly. You know, there was a time when we were one of the fastest growing counties in the country. And then, of course, that all came to a screeching halt. And I don't know how we are compared to other counties in the state, but I can tell you that we are starting to grow rapidly.
Y'all just continue doing a good job with this man.
We,
And then, again, my concern was just that extra, because I wasn't even sure if that was a legal thing for them. I mean, I know it's not really investment, it's just held until they can do, but with it being tax money from that it could be invested. But if it's just held, you know, are you gonna be using it?
I think it just depends on what it's used for ultimately, not.
Yeah.
And that's what we refer to as extra money. It's not extra money, it's money that we have that we're gonna spend.
right.
Right.
It's not
We
extra.
just can't spend it.
It would almost be a disservice if we spent it, because you don't, I mean, it's crowded out there already. Okay, and then we bring even more people, now we could set ourselves up with a COVID problem. And I'm just being honest with you, you know what I'm saying? If we spent $200,000 on more TV ads in Atlanta and more people came up here in November and December,
Not only that, but
So-
there's a tipping point when
Yeah,
people
what-
come up here, there's so many people that don't enjoy it anymore.
like that light up LJ from 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, what?
What was it, the Dr. C's thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Blue bill or whatever.
there's a diminishing return,
Yeah.
you know?
But there are other things that the money can be spent on.
Theoretically, but again, just to throw it away unwisely because we have spent it.
Absolutely don't want to.
As long as we're okay at understanding that it will be spent maturely and properly.
Right.
That works for me.
Yeah.
We're going to say this carefully, but we're making progress with other matters that the chamber has before them at this time. And it's going very, very well.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, would you agree?
I can't wait to interview some, 2 or 3 of our candidates and to present them, whoever we just, no matter who we choose, who we've narrowed it down to, I cannot wait to present them to you as someone you can trust.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, it's exciting. It is so exciting.
That's great.
And we have y'all in mind to please and to partner with and to be proud to show, for
Well,
sure.
you know, the impressive thing to me is that y'all have found somebody that good that's willing to work for 32,000 a year.
I know.
Believe me.
And we were worried about getting minimum wage in there because, you know, it's more than 40 hours a week. But
That's a concern.
Yeah, we gotta get a permit.
thank you for your time. Do you have any other questions of us that we probably can't answer anyway? Because everybody knows who we
I
are.
think y'all did fine, John.
Well, thank you.